What up, everybody? The Normies are back with another Naruto sub versus dub. The Normies are definitively answering it. This time we are talking about the villains. The villains of Naruto. How are we going to do this? We're going to do this one by one scene for each major Naruto antagonist.
One scene?
Some people aren't on here. Navi's favorite, what was her name? Fucking
Conan?
The very end villain.
Oh, the demon rabbit lady?
Kaguya.
Nobody gives a
From the moon. Because there's a rabbit on the moon.
That was the lamest one.
She's not on here. Zabuza doesn't really count. We're trying to go for some of the major notable villains. You'll see we got Orochimaru, Pain, Danzo, Madara.
How many times did you get?
No Kabuto?
I just want to hear him say which style.
Oh, no Kabuto.
Damn.
No problem. If you guys like this, we will definitely do more. But we want to do as many villains as we can.
Yeah.
Maybe Kabuto counts as an anti-hero now.
Yeah, he kinda does.
The next one, we're going to do anti-heroes after this. But guys, if this is your first time here, we watch one scene, at least with this one. We're watching a scene with each of these villains, watching it in the sub, and then we're watching it in the dub. And we're going to discuss which ones we felt were the better performance based entirely on our subjective opinions. Yes, we watched Naruto in the dub, but if you look back at our other sub dubs, we did choose sub mostly, I think, when it came to Naruto.
Yeah.
Because
That's what we grew up with.
actually, I think what we ended up doing is Shippuden, the sub always won, and the dub always won with the original Naruto because the kid voices sounded more legit in English to us.
That's true.
Than like an older Japanese man voice. But first up on the deck, we're going kind of in order of appearance. We got Orochimaru, guys. Steve Bloom, everybody, the dub voice of Orochimaru. Here he is if you didn't know what he looked like.
I had no idea what he looked like.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's Spike Spiegel.
I'm always
I feel
seeing
like-
his Instagram ads for the voice acting.
Really?
It's super good.
Steve Bloom is 63 years old now. My gosh. Born in Santa Monica, nicknamed the veteran voice monkey for the hundreds of voiceovers credited to his name.
Okay.
Won voice actor of the year.
Okay.
He's probably won several voice actor awards, but he did win the BTVA 2018.
Okay.
Notable roles, of course.
Come on.
Pick one.
So many.
Damn.
Mugen, Amon, Zeb Aurelios, Spike Spiegel. We have watched all these and are currently watching one of them now. Two of them now.
Samurai Champloo and Rebels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just going from Spike Spiegel to Zeb alone.
Yeah.
And then Amon, like those sound like three different people.
Yeah.
That's why
and
he's the champ.
I know you guys aren't watching, but I don't know how much Mickey remembers because we've only done one sit down. But Mugen also doesn't quite sound like what you would expect. He doesn't have that like irreverent voice.
Remind me, Mugen.
Mugen's the gutter ass fucking one who's a bum who looks like he sleeps outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's like super gruff and rough, and she's like, "Hey, jerk face," and it's like, "All right, I didn't think you were gonna say any of that," but yeah. So range the man has.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of range. And he is going up against Wakako Matsumoto.
Oh, snap.
And here she is.
I had no
Sweet
idea
lady.
Orochimaru
No, that tracks.
sub is voiced by a female.
Remember when we first saw Orochimaru and we thought she was a female?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then briefly, for
Goku's
like
voiced
2 whole
by
episodes, she was.
Wakako Matsumoto, she's better known as her stage name, Kujira.
Ooh, that sounds sick.
52 years old, born in Tokyo. Fortes in voicing Bishonen. Bishonen?
Bishonen.
Which are male characters with female traits.
Okay.
You know, it says Bishonen, but let's just call it Bishonen,
It
right?
sounds like Bishonen.
Yeah.
I'm Bishonen.
But I mean, it makes sense. Male characters, female traits.
She voiced Ella from Sonic X, Sweet Pea, One Piece.
We
and
have not met Sweet Pea One Piece yet.
I wonder if they're a member of the crew, a future member of the crew.
Maybe
You
the
don't know?
ultimate villain that they have to be the
sounds
Sweet Pea Fairy.
Oh my god.
How many crew members are on the ship now where you guys are at? Still the same ones?
No, we have added people.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at you guys
Laboon
are
can walk
far.
on land now.
You guys are so far.
Laboon can walk on land. You don't even know what Laboon is.
Laboon is a whale.
Okay.
That's why it's important that they can walk on land.
Yeah.
Wakako versus Steve. We are going to watch their scene right now.
Yes.
This is the universe inside of me. This is where the transference ritual will be held. What remarkable visual prowess. This is magnificent. It's as if I'm living that moment all over. Those eyes. This time, those eyes are mine. But how? This can't be. I created this universe. I control all here. No, it's impossible. This is my own space. No, I will not allow this to happen. I am the immortal Orochimaru. I am invincible. I will not die here. This will not happen to me, especially not here. I am the one who will unlock the mysteries of nature. I am the one who will receive everything.
私の中にある異空間、ここで転生の儀式を行うのよ。なんという動力、素晴らしい。これはまるであの時のその目がついに私のものに。これはバカな。ここは私の作り出した異空間よ。ありえない、ありえない、ありえないわ。ここは私だけの。こんなことがあってたまるか。私は不死のオロチマルだぞ。こんなところでこの私が。私はこの世を解き明かすもの、全てを手にするものなのだ。
That's a tough one.
Head to head right there.
Very different.
I miss Orochimaru.
I think I'm gonna go for
it.
sub on
I
this
miss
one.
that guy.
Yeah.
Steve Bloom is it would be a tough one to beat, but I like the sub.
I think I like the sub for the character because they sound fucking otherworldly,
Unhinged.
more gravelly, more monster-esque.
Definitely more monster.
Like, while I do think Orochimaru's a monster, I think Steve Bloom sometimes plays him really well as like a scientist, like kind of a mad scientist, kind of crazy. Where Wakako, I thought was bringing like, oh, you're kind of a monster that slithered from under the bed vibes. And Orochimaru gives me that feeling. It feels like he's perpetually wet, like other people we know.
Yeah.
I agree that it sounded like Wakako sounded like otherworldly or some ancient weird being that's no longer human. It's just like transcended to something else. So they gave that vibe really well. It's just hard for me because I really like Steve Bloom's Orochimaru and that scientist shtick, that he's developed for himself. And I do like the subline better at the end when Matsumoto, she says, I was supposed to be the one to unravel the order of the universe. Like, it sounds more diabolical and chaotic, whereas Steve Bloom's Orochimaru was saying, like, I was supposed to be the one to unlock the mysteries of
the immortality or something.
Yeah. So again, more of the science versus like just straight chaos.
Yeah.
And I guess that for Orochimaru, at least it comes down to which of those two flavors of Orochimaru you like better.
Because Orochimaru is definitely both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna stick it with the dub on this one for my man Steve Bloom, just because I'm used to him.
This is a difficult one. I feel like it's very different. I wasn't expecting the sub to sound the way it does because, like, knowing this Wakako, I was like, wait a minute, it's more gravelly than what Steve Bloom is doing. And I feel like I think it comes down to the way I prefer or like Orochimaru, even though Orochimaru is a big ass monster, but because I know that he comes back alive and then all of a sudden like he's fine now and like he's doing goofy stuff in the background, I do prefer the dub in that voice in that
That's actually
sense.
a really good point.
Because instead of like if that was a straight up monster like Madara, it's like, okay, yeah, that is definitely Wakako.
But should we just judge villain Orochimaru since this is the villain's one?
My other thing is, like, I think the difficult part is because we're doing one, I'm curious to know if there was an audio manipulation done on the sub, the way it was sounding, or that's how it sounded all the time. But
I'm
that's how
assuming that's what
gravelly.
she sounded like all the time.
Okay.
I mean, she sounds very Baishonen. That was, if anyone fits that description, it's Orochimaru.
For sure. It was really good. Both did amazing job, and I guess it will depend on how I see Orochimaru prefer, and that's more of a dub version of Orochimaru.
Right. 2 dubs, 2 subs.
Because he is a monster, but it's a monster that we can forgive, I guess.
Nice.
Like a monster that's like
Now there's a part of me that super wants to watch Orochimaru the teacher, but in fucking sub. I want to hear Wakako being like, and now turn to the 5. Like, oh god,
I would be curious.
I wish that never happened. I just can't believe this man was acquitted of all charges.
back to the same
He's
village.
way better
he
as a
killed
villain.
the president. He blew everything up. He stole a kid. You remember the were they water people or mist people that he fucking genocided?
It's like Vegeta's redemption feels earned.
Yeah.
And like,
plus you can wish people back.
Yeah.
We can undo a lot of that harm.
This is like, oh no, he did those things, and we're just gonna
Maybe he did something to earn his.
sweep it under the rug.
you guys remember
Yeah, he brought
Kimaru
Sasuke to the fucking secret Uchiha lair.
and said, read this for me. No, I like him as a villain. I do. Him being acquitted, that's the thing I don't have a feel for. But I do like, I'm sticking with Monster. Kujira out here, baby, bringing it.
Kujira. Damn, Orochimaru is a deadlock. All right, what do you guys think? Who's your favorite Orochimaru voice? We're gonna move on to Pain.
Pain.
I'm slightly
Do we
concerned.
know Pain?
Do we know Pain
We
yet?
finally know Pain.
I feel like I know Pain now after reading One Piece, but I don't know about actually.
I got yelled at for telling that to Blind Wave. I thought that after we knew Pain, we could do that to other people. Turns out it's not.
No, that was the whole lesson.
What the fuck?
what?
Yeah.
What do you
What are you
mean?
doing?
You told them you didn't
You
know
guys don't
Pain?
even know Pain.
He said you don't know Pain, and they
I
were
would-
like, "What?"
Oh,
Got
Like
him.
they don't know Pain.
That's their fault. They should fucking learned.
We will know this Pain. Kenyu Horoichi.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Horyuchi.
Aw, he looks
This
like
guy?
a sweet guy.
Sweet guy.
he does know Pain.
He looks like he might not know Pain though.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know.
think he does.
Let's see.
He
Kenyu.
seems too chipper.
Best known for dubbing over Brad Pitt,
Nice.
Charlie
What?
Sheen,
Nice.
Ben Stiller,
Nice.
Ben Affleck, and a
Two
few
Bens.
other known celebrities. Holy shit! Wow,
What? Really?
that's awesome. Founded his own voice acting management office called Kenyu Office. He voiced
Oh
Ogma
my God.
from Beastars.
Wow.
You remember who Ogma was?
Yeah.
I don't. He voiced Tobi Rama Senju, also
Nice.
Naruto.
Racist.
Professor Oak, the homie,
Hey! Now what about the man? Can I read about him?
versus
The homie Troy
Man,
Baker.
these are some-
Hey! That's
There's
what
some
Troy Baker looks
formidable
like.
opponents.
I had no idea.
Damn.
Yeah, this is like an all-star dub crew.
Yeah.
Well, the most well-known dubbers in all of dubdom.
It's like if you had to name dub voice actors, you would name these guys. Anyway, let's read off for the homie Troy.
The homie Joel.
47 years old, born and raised in Dallas, Texas, voice actor and musician, holds the record for the most acting nominations at the BAFTA Game Awards, was recruited by Chris Sabat, the voice of Vegeta, to come do work at Funimation and do the dub for the anime Case Closed.
Love King.
Wow.
I read that as was rescued by. For a second.
He has done
What happened?
Yamamoto in Naruto.
Yamato.
Hey, I was thinking about the homie Yamamoto from Bleach.
Who the fuck is Schmeisel?
Schmeisel. Is that Orange Boy?
Schmeisel.
Think his name
These
changed
guys
to
didn't
Orange
even,
Boy?
these didn't even care about Code
Are you
Geass.
sure it wasn't Schneisel?
Greed, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Hell yeah.
Games, Joel, The Last of Us,
Oh, yeah.
Sam Drake, Uncharted.
And
This
who is
guy.
on his Young Justice? Who does he play on Young Justice?
He's a
He's
he's a
on
busy
there?
one.
He is on
He's
Young
a busy
Justice,
one.
so
That
I can't
Troy.
remember who he voiced.
I forgot who does. Is it
No,
Connor?
that's someone else. Regardless, Troy Baker is that dude.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm very. He also cameoed in The Last of Us season 1, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was him and the voice actor for Ellie, right?
Yeah, he was the one that she stabbed in the cannibal camp.
Oh.
yeah.
Damn.
That was a good. Oh, anyway.
Well, I didn't know what he looked like, so I would have not known.
You don't know.
He's a handsome guy, and he can sing too. God damn it, he could sing as Joel in a deep country voice that is not even his own. All right, we're gonna check out this scene. This is during
the best fight.
Yeah, this is during the Pain versus Naruto fight.
What I want is to create peace and bring about justice. What is your goal?
I'm gonna bring peace to the ninja world!
Oh, I see. What about my family? They suffer the same fate as this village at the hands of you, Hidden Leaf Ninja. How is it fair to let only you people preach about peace and justice? The Land of Fire and the Hidden Leaf had grown too big. To protect their national interests, they forced feudal clans to wage war against each other. Our little nation and its villages became the battlefield where the great nations waged their war. Our nation was ravaged and laid to waste. You and I are both seeking the very same thing. We both want to achieve the peace that Jiraiya-sensei envisioned. The justice that I have delivered against the Leaf Village is no different from what you are trying to do to me. Everyone feels the same pain when losing something dear. You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine. We're both just ordinary men who have been driven to seek vengeance in the name of justice. And if one comes to call vengeance justice, such justice will only breed further vengeance and trigger a vicious cycle of hatred.
平和を生み出し正義をなすことだ。お前の目的は何だ？
この忍びの世界を平和にしてやる！
そうか。それは立派なことだ。俺の家族を、俺の仲間を、この里と同じようにしたお前たち木の葉の忍びだけが平和と正義を口にすることを許されるわけではないだろう。火の国、そして木の葉は大きくなりすぎ、大国同士の戦争で自国の利益を獲得する必要がある。その大国の戦場になるのは俺たちの小さな国と里だった。その度に我々の国は荒らされ疲弊していった。お前も俺も目指すものは同じだ。ジライア先生の言っていた平和をなそうとしている。俺が木の葉に対してやった正義はお前が俺にやろうとしていることと同じだ。大切なものを失う痛みは誰も同じ。お前も俺もその痛みを知る者同士だ。お前はお前の正義のために、俺は俺の正義のために。俺たちは正義という名の復讐へと駆り立てられた普通の人間だ。復讐を正義というならば、その正義はさらなる復讐を生み、憎しみの連鎖が始まる。
Dub. There's an emotional numbness in Troy's delivery, where his delivery is just like, "Look, man, this is the way it is. You know, you guys fuck with us, I gotta fuck with you. It's just the way it is." Like there's just a numb matter of factness with Troy's performance, and in the sub I still get. Like he's still like, I'm on a mission. Like I'm gonna do this shit. Like I don't know. Like there's still a little bit of tenaciousness in his voice in the sub.
Yeah,
I get a little bit of that matter of fact type of speaking in the sub. The way can you explain the cycle of hatred? It's almost like he was teaching the boy a lesson.
Yeah.
Whereas Troy Baker did it. He's also kind of teaching him a lesson, but stating it how things are. Like this is just how shit is. Whereas can you, I don't know, maybe I felt a little bit more empathy in his voice towards Naruto. But Troy Baker, to me, I prefer that pain voice more.
Yeah.
Where it sounds more subdued, like almost like you could see that he just has to do this. And he explains himself. And the way when Naruto said, "I'm gonna bring peace and justice to the whole ninja world," the way Troy Baker delivered the line where he goes, "Oh, I see." It was almost like, "Oh, you child, you're just like you are just like you think like a kid."
Yeah.
And which would eventually make it hit harder that he does end up listening to him in the end. But I'm gonna go dub.
I'm going dub. I get the lecturer vibe, but I get the like Ben Stein, I've been doing this for so long vibe from Troy Baker's performance. And I think that with him kind of being beat down, or just Nagato speaking through him, but him being like beat down after so long, after so much war, after being orphans, after all they had to done, that he's kind of like glazed over on it. And he's like, this is finally our chance to talk. And like, it feels like a person who isn't so much having a conversation as it is a person who's thought through this conversation 100 times and know all the points you're going to make. And like, you know, maybe that I'm going to save the ninja world thing caught him off guard. And he's like, oh, well, the retort back to that. So I felt like, I don't know, he felt more in control. I like the voice a lot. I do think that Kinyu did a very good job as well, but it just, I don't know. I think Troy Baker's bringing it for me in a way that I like hearing it on Pain. And I do feel that Kinyu has a little more like empathy, and that maybe if I watched it more, I would probably like Kinyu more because of the empathy. But I like the cold, calculated, kind of like surgical vibe of, I got to do this. I destroyed your village, and I understand that you want revenge, but here's why that's silly type of shit.
And I know we're not used to Japanese voices. Well, we are by now with how much sub anime we watch. But he kind of just sounded like your run-of-the-mill villain.
Yeah.
So where even if I was hearing Troy for the first time, I would have been like, "Ooh, this is like a different type of villain.
Yeah.
He's on a different level of thinking."
Yeah.
That's just the vibe I got. I'm sorry. I maybe that nuance is there for someone naturally Japanese speaking, but that's what I felt.
That's weird. I actually, I kind of like the sub one better because I do think I saw that in Kenyu, the way, even though he was doing matter of factly, there was a sadness, empathy to it. It was like, I hear that you want to do a justice. Essentially, our goal is the same, but here we are. Like, what you are doing is what I'm trying to do. Like, if we are gonna do the justice in the name of vengeance, then if you're gonna do vengeance in the name of justice, and then justice is gonna be in the name of vengeance, it's gonna be a cycle that's gonna continue going. When he was doing that in the end, like the way he looks, it just looks he's tired, and his voice sounded like, I'm tired and I'm sad and I understand where you're coming from, but here we are. Like, we're gonna continue doing this, and this is where we're gonna end up coming. So what you're doing is saying what we are doing and what we're gonna do about it. I don't see Pain as it being matter of factly. Like, I know he is, realistically, this is what we're gonna do, but at the same time, he's very, very empathetic. The reason why he's doing it because he feels the empathy of all the villages that have done so much to him since he was an orphan. It's all that pain that he's been keeping in him is the reason why it's keep on going. The reason why he is, quote unquote, taking this vengeance and trying to create this peace in his own way. In that sense, I kind of like the sub version. I mean, obviously we watched it in a dub. Troy Baker is Troy Baker, but comparing it to, I kind of did like the Kenyu version of Pain in this scene overall.
There you go.
I will say sub.
Ken, you got one in the corner there.
Yeah.
Three of us are standing Troy Baker. Maybe we just love Troy so much.
Old Troy boy.
All of us agree, though. I mean, at least I think this is like peak Naruto.
Yeah.
Like, this is
peak.
The ideas.
thing, the philosophies, like explaining ISIS.
Essentially, yeah.
I want to hear the almighty push line in the sub, though.
Well,
Yeah.
And I do think that after we get out of this, the villain that we have next is much more about like the history and the whys of like how this. But this was Naruto's thesis statement.
It was
Yeah.
so good. When we watched this episode, I think it was like, we had a really long discussion because the idea of like, we know this, now what? Like, we know what Pain is doing. It makes sense, and it's kind of like, where do we go from here?
Like,
how do we solve this?
Really?
How do you stop like pains from being created?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
what
mean?
does
Like-
peace mean? Like, if both of them are trying to create peace, what is actually peace? And who is right?
That's why Naruto's the GOAT.
Go that.
That's why he's the
Hey,
GOAT.
1,000-Year Blood War, we might find out something new about ourselves.
Yeah, remember that 1,000-Year Blood War is coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's happening.
Shout out to Watchdog
Oh, yeah.
getting these scenes for us. Moving on now to Danzo, our third
Windstyle.
villain. Windstyle.
Windstyle.
Our favorite. And who said that? William Frederick Knight. Let's see what he looks like. He looks like a Danzo.
He does.
He does. They just said, hey, get that grandpa over there. Come here. Can you say Windstyle?
Windstyle.
Put him on. Put him on payroll.
Let me check your arm for eyeballs.
That man's got style. Born in Tyler, Texas, passed away November 8th, 2022.
R.I.P.
Damn,
Danzo.
R.I.P. We were still watching Naruto at that time.
Damn.
Dang.
Damn.
An American actor who lent his voice dubbing anime and video games often played the role of the wise old man.
Ooh, or the treacherous old man.
Notable roles: Kenzo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure; Daisuke Aramaki, Ghost in the Shell; William Frederick Knight. Everybody, seriously, rest in peace. It looks like he probably did a lot of work
Lived a long life.
Yeah.
for sure. Going up against Hiroshi Ito.
Yo, bro, you shooting a Mamiya RB67. That's my jam. And he got the chimney top on it. He won already. That's
Just
my
because
camera,
of that,
baby.
he hasn't even voiced anything.
You
How did I
already
know? How did I know
You
Chris
already
was
know.
gonna say something as soon as I saw it? As soon as whenever I see those cameras in the wild, I think of Chris.
I say,
I got that one, man.
It's like he'd be wet right now.
Shut up.
Hiroshi Ito, guys, 90 years old, born in Fukuoka likes to go fishing in his free time. Look at that. Typical old man. Mainly voices older male characters, of course.
Nice. Waylon Smithers, Kent Brockman, Fat Tony. Let's go.
I want to see Japanese Simpsons.
Right?
Let's watch the Simpsons movie in the sub.
I'm down.
God. This is reacted in the sub. That'd be hilarious. William versus Hiroshi, and we're watching a scene where Danzo tells Sasuke the truth.
Self-sacrifice. That's what epitomizes a shinobi. Never seeing the light of day. Toiling in the shadows. That's the way of a true shinobi. And not just Itachi. Countless shinobi have died the same way. This world could not function on ideals and pleasantries. No, it's entirely thanks to people like him that peace has been maintained. People like you, who've misconstrued Itachi's will, wouldn't understand. Still, Itachi, revealing such a secret to you, makes him a traitor to the leaf.
Don't speak any further about Itachi.
Sure. Next, let's battle with our eyes instead. Wind style, catch those bullets! 自己犠牲、それが忍びだ。日の目を見ることもなく、影の行動者。それが昔からある忍び本来の姿。イタチだけではない。多くの忍びがそうやって死んでいた。世の中は綺麗事だけでは回らん。そういう者たちのおかげで平和は維持されてきたのだ。イタチの意志を履き違えたお前にはわからんだろうがな。だがお前に秘密を明かしたイタチはこの葉に対する恨み。
それ以上イタチを語るな。
そうだな。次は目で語る戦いにしよう。ブータン真空逆。
The voices were very similar, but I think the sub performed it better because like the contrast with him being in the fist and then like being like, all right, let's get serious. Like I could feel the constriction in his voice. Like he was struggling to speak.
There was constriction with God, what was his three first names again? William. William had constriction in his voice too, but it felt more like acting. Like, you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't feel that. Like it felt like he was purposely trying to make it sound that way. Yeah. Whereas it felt like a homie was being choked in the studio.
Like bear hugged me for the section.
Yeah, like just bear hug me. Yeah, Hiroshi was being bear hugged. I guess.
Like literally somebody's like squishing him with both sides. Like talk now.
I've noticed that across the board when it comes to like sub versus dub acting is like Japanese voice actors. I don't know if they're recording strategies are different, but I always see Japanese actors like performing in the space of the scene really well. Like if there's like a struggle in their voice, like they add that nuance that I don't see a lot typically in Western performances.
I think they've gotten better, but maybe I think that's like a voice directing issue.
But I wonder, like, because obviously, like, you know, the sub is the original product. I wonder if they're able to like record with like seeing the scene taking place in front of them, and maybe the Western people only have a script to work with. Like, I wonder if there's...
I do think that with Hiroshi that there were some things lost in the performance, like pronunciation and like the things about it. Like if I wasn't reading it, and I do think it was a little mixed lower, but even like hearing outside the mix, I think I would have had a hard time understanding what they're saying because they're being crushed. But that literally adds to the performance. You know what I mean? So like, I think maybe there's a difference between going for like, are we going for the emotion of it, or are we going for clarity of information? And for me, it felt like this one was losing some of the clarity of information, but I'd be lying if I said that the sub didn't do it better. I just think that the performance was fucking above and beyond, like literally sounding like they're being crushed. And then when they finally get out and you get the clarity of what they do sound like,
that was
like, no, and I was like, no, that's terrifying. Because it went from being like, oh, I'm an old man and I'm sick and you got me, which is kind of how we perceived Danzo. But then he was behind and he's like, but no, I'm right here. And it was like, oh.
Yeah, and you don't see that change in the dub.
Yeah, that contrast was...
the dub, and I love the dude, R.I.P. Dub sounded like he was trying to get it, like the last shit out. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, and then it got out and then he talked normally. whereas like he was actually being constricted.
Yeah.
No hate to the homie Kenneth. Okay.
Yeah. Going back to what Mickey was saying, like I don't know how the dub voice actors do, but I've seen. So there's been a lot of clips on JJK voice acting. So whoever did Yuji's voice acting, you know that scene when spoilers, when Sukuna kills everybody and he's on the floor and just screaming, and he's like, oh my god, I'm sorry. So his actual voice actor, like he's actually on the floor and doing the same thing. So like the mic is lowered and he's like acting it out. So which gives him that level of like. Maybe Hiroshi was being squished in the studio. I love the Hiroshi when that voice changed. It was like, okay, that's different, because otherwise before like I can barely hear what you're saying.
Because it got scary.
It got scary. It got terrifying. It was like, okay, so he was just
It's like when you hear someone fake crying and then they stop suddenly and they're like, I'm fine. You're like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. You flip that switch.
That happened. There's one actor, I was watching Classroom of the lead anime, and then there's one girl who does that. I was like, oh, that is terrifying.
Because you get the contrast. You get the really high, and then you get the super low, and you're like, oh, you jumped there. I wasn't ready for that.
This is difficult. I do like the wind style,
That's
whatever you're
classic.
saying. Yeah, that's classic. But I think sub in this one was beautifully done.
Even when he said whatever wind style was in Japanese, he was blowing it through his mouth, so it was like
wind style.
I think sub is taking this one, guys. Hiroshi over William. But I do think dubbed anime has gotten better at that issue. I think it is the animation director and the voice directors, and some voice actors like Erwin Smith's voice actor, J. Michael Tatum. Some of them actually take the mantle in like being a part of that vocal direction, so they pay close attention to like how it is acted out in the sub, because theoretically the dub should always be the better performance, because you have more time to think about the context and look at how it was done in two other mediums,
right?
And you get a chance to base it off of,
if it wasn't for the nuance of like the constriction, I thought like the voices sounded similar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like they both did.
Both solid Danzo voice.
Turns out the wiser older man you are, the more you sound like a wise old man.
Yeah, true. Very true.
All right, let's move on to our final villain of Madara Uchiha.
It's so
Madara.
The homie Neil Kaplan, another veteran of the dub scene.
Kaplan, dang.
Look at this guy.
I did not know that's what he looked like.
He gave us a shout out video.
Yes,
well,
he did.
actually, the
Neil
homies Johnny
Kaplan,
Blue,
man.
Keep It Zen, a bunch of Discord Normie community members. Join our Discord, guys, please. Need more people in there. They sent out a video from Neil Kaplan and Yuri Lowenthal.
It was
to us.
beautiful.
It was nice. American voice actor, audiobook narrator, entertainer, and comedian. Got a start as a comedian doing impressions of Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
Head
God
Captain
damn
Yamamoto.
Can I do it now? Yamamoto.
Yamamoto.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Theo McGath.
Theo McGath, Attack on Titan.
Hawkman.
I don't know who that is.
Digimon, Digital Monsters.
Never
Digimon are
watched.
that?
Never watched.
Yeah, but like,
Oh,
yeah, I never watched.
Angel.
You guys never watched Digimon?
I never watched
How is this
Pokemon.
first
You
time
never
you're
watched
finding this
Pokemon?
out
I
about?
saw the movies, but I didn't really keep up like episodically. I would say.
This guy doesn't
Well,
know.
nobody kept up with episode by episode on Digimon, but at least watch it.
I did Pokemon. Versus Naoya.
Naoya Uchida.
I hate to say it, but he looks like Madara Uchiha. Put a wig on him.
Yeah, that's it.
Actor, voice actor. First debuted in various TV dramas starting in 1972. A live action actor
Nice.
before voice acting. In 1990, he moved from TV drama to focus more on voice acting and opera.
Okay.
Damn.
Does the Japanese voice for actors such as Bruce Willis, Woody Harrelson, Andy Garcia, and Kenneth Branagh. Wow.
Does it spell
There's
Brad?
a type.
Never
there.
read that.
Yeah, that is a type. It's interesting because the other guy was Brad Pitt.
Ben
Yeah.
Stiller.
Ben
Yeah,
Stiller.
there's kind of a type there too.
Yeah. Notable roles:
Soichiro Yagami.
Soichiro,
Daddy Yagami?
Daddy Yagami in Death Note,
Nobunaga.
and Nobunaga, the samurai swordsman guy
Nice.
in
Oh, okay.
Hunter x Hunter.
Dracula? That
Dracula. Oh, I want
That
what?
fucking tracks.
Dude, I was
Castlevania.
okay.
Madara
Castlevania.
Uchiha as a Dracula.
I can see it.
I'm down to watch Castlevania and sub next
Yeah.
time I watch
Yeah.
it for sure. And then who's Askeladd?
Askeladd. He's in Vinland Saga.
I hear Vinland Saga season 2 was the bee's knees, and we all fucked up for not watching it.
That's what I keep hearing.
That's what I keep hearing. Anyway, here it is, the Madara scene.
Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well. As long as there is a concept of victors, the vanquished will also exist. The selfish intent of wanting to preserve peace initiates wars, and hatred is born in order to protect love. There are nexuses, causal relationships that cannot be separated. Normally, I want to sever the fate of this world. A world of only victors. A world of only peace. A world of only love. I will create such a world.
この世のすべてにおいて光が当たるところには必ず影がある。勝者という概念がある以上、敗者は同じくして存在する。平和を保ちたいとする利己的な意志が戦争を起こし、愛を守るために憎しみが生まれる。これらは因果関係にあり、切り離すことができん。本来はこの世の因果を断ち切る。勝者だけの世界、平和だけの世界、愛だけの世界、それらだけの世界を作る。
Well, I don't know. Once again, I will say the sub does it in a way that creates empathy. Like it feels like they're being a little bit more empathetic towards who they're talking to. So that's a tough one. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the words he was saying really hit me more in the sub. I don't know if the dialogue changed at all. Just like describing the opposites of light and dark, victors and vanquished. This is like a really good scene for Madara's philosophy as well. I don't know. I need more time to kind of with this one.
I get the same thing with Pain. Like Madara's dub is just more just like hardened. Like the sub still felt like a wise grandpa.
Who's a little upset.
Huh?
Who's like a little upset.
Yeah, but Madara is just like, yeah, it's just very just cold and matter-of-factly.
I like it. I like dub. I'm going dub on this one. Madara Uchiha to me is the man who can calmly bring down an asteroid, who can ask you if you want to dance, and I feel like I want him to sound like this immovable, unreasonable force. You know what I mean? Like, at the end, they didn't talk no jutsu Madara. Madara was like, nah,
that's true.
I'm not hearing it. This is my opinion. Is it weird that I sound like God to you? Because maybe I am. And that's kind of, so this is pure bias here. Like, I'm sorry, dub Madara, that episode where he switches from being Toby to being Madara is one of my favorites. And it is stark contrast to who he was before. And I like that. I love the way he sounds. I love that the man sounds like a brick, like compressed, non-changing, set here to do what it's supposed to do, which is go through windows.
Yeah, I am on dub for this one as well. I do understand like it has a little bit more empathy in sub, but because Madara is so old at this point, he's lived so many years, and he is playing God. Like he is essentially like, this is how it's gonna be. He has enacted this plan that's been going on for so many years. He knows how things are gonna go, so he is like acting like all-knowing being. So knowing that, like, I prefer the dub version of him, because at this point I don't. His plan has been in motion for so long that I don't want empathy from him. It's like, this is done. This is how it's gonna be, and this is the way we're gonna go about it. Whereas Pain, I see, is a little bit still younger. To still like, okay, there's still. He still have more hardening to
a little idealistic show.
Yeah.
Thinking things can
and
change.
he does end up just straight using Obito. So it doesn't make sense for him to be more cold. I'm wondering here if in this scene it was supposed to be played more empathetic, and then maybe he gets colder, but
or maybe
Madara's
he played
always
it
been Madara.
empathetic in order to kind of get him around to his side.
Yeah.
He doesn't exactly have the power to take him, but also Obito doesn't really have the power to fight back. So
because with the sub voice, I feel like sorry, let me get his name again. Naoya Uchida. Let's just say with Uchida, not the Uchida massacre. Uchida, because the sub voices are so talented and using their space and environment, I'm wondering if he just made himself sound older here with this Madara, and then some of the other fight scenes, it's more the type that you like, because we've seen how they can shift with Danzo so vastly.
That's true.
So
because he was
fighting-
he was kind of like con manning here.
Yeah,
That's true.
and like looks old and disheveled, so that might have been played up for the scene. So who knows? Maybe if he sounded better when he was fighting all the allied shinobi forces or whatever.
That's a good point.
But yeah, now that you said you can't talk no jutsu Madara, it almost makes me want to go sub voice for Pain and keep this one dub, because he is like an immovable object.
Yeah.
But I already said what I said there. I'm gonna vote dub for this one then too, because Neil Kaplan is. Yeah, you when you put it that way, the fighting Madara is who I think of.
Yeah.
Like he should be able to be equally badass when he fights and when he talks like this.
Did you guys ever watch Inspector Gadget? Do you remember Mr. or Dr. Claw? That's kind of how I think of Madara. It's like he's just the voice and the look, and he doesn't stop doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, guys, a lot of dub victories here.
Yeah.
It makes
Danzo
sense.
was sub.
Yeah. Danzo was sub, but all
dub.
the
Pain
all-star
is
dub
dub.
crew, Neil Kaplan,
Indubitably.
Troy Baker, and Steve Bloom, that's hard to beat. That's like literally, they're on the all-star team if there was one.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They all stars.
Yeah.
Oh my god, all-star team with the dub actor.
Who are your favorite Naruto villains as villain characters? And then aside from that, whose voice do you prefer?
Yep.
Let us know in the comments. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.